This morning, we're following breaking news in Boulder. A BNSF train crashed into train cars on the track, shutting down a portion of Pearl Parkway.
Yeah, this happened near 48th and Arapahoe, and that is where we find 9 News reporter Anusha Roy. Anusha, what do we know so far this morning?
Yeah, hey Jordan and Corey, we've got a little bit of a tricky vantage point. We're pretty far back and of course it's still dark out, but to give you a sense of where we're at, we're just north of Boulder Community Hospital off of Arapahoe and 48th. I took a quick walk back towards beyond those trees. That is where the crash actually happened. Beyond the trees, if you can see, there's some people coming and going. There's a lot of heavy machinery, and then beyond that is the train itself that's crashed. What we know at this point is the train was heading southbound from Valmont to Pearl Parkway when it crashed into the train cars, and then those cars derailed and went off the track. We know that 2 conductors were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. I'd say Excel showed up here within about the last 20-30 minutes. We know there's an impacted power line that they're going to have to take a look at as well. There's also a train bridge that was damaged as well. As you can imagine, we're just starting to get the details, so they're kind of assessing the extent of that damage. At one point, they were worried about a fuel leak into the creek. Now investigators are saying that they believe that's actually algae, so kind of changing details in and around that. So as you can imagine, there's a pretty wide extent damage that they're taking a look at. So parts of Pearl Parkway could be closed for as long as a couple of days. Parts of Valmont shut off as well. So they're really asking folks this morning to avoid those areas if you can. BNSF is going to be out here. They're investigating what happened with this crash. We have reached out as well, and of course we'll let you know as soon as we learn more. Reporting live in Boulder, Anusha Roy, 9 News.
All right, Anusha, thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Jordan Chavez. This, of course, is going to have our impacts on the roads out there around Boulder. We want to get a check of your traffic now with Brianna Fernandez. Brianna, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, that's an area that there's a lot of businesses. People usually walk in that area, bike, and of course, a lot of cars cut through that area. So that area where we're talking about is Pearl Parkway, right near 48th and Arapahoe Avenue. So your best alternate routes for this morning, if you're heading out the door, is Foothills Parkway and 28th Avenue. Like Anusha mentioned, and like we are going to be mentioning all morning, this is going to cause some major impacts for those in Boulder. So definitely expect delays. You are going to see crews on scene all throughout the morning. Now, overall, if you're heading out the door right now, southbound I-25 right near the North Glen Federal Heights area. Not seeing any delays, no crashes to report this morning other than the crash that we're tracking right now in Boulder. That Fort Collins and Greeley commute still in the clear. So if you're heading out the door, you can see a lot of green on your screen. And I do want to check on our CDOT cameras real quick before you head out the door. This is a live look of I-25 on the south and northbound lanes right near Evans Avenue.
All right, thanks so much, Brianna. Let's take a look at that forecast for today. Right now, things on the calm side for us here in Denver. Western slope, a few rain showers out there for our friends from about, say, Glenwood Canyon on west, seeing a few drips of rain out there. Nothing significant at this point. But later today, a classic monsoon setup. What that means is that in the mountains, we got widespread, slow-moving showers and storms with that potential for flash flooding. I-25 corridor looks pretty dry for the most part today. So if you've plans, outdoor plans for this afternoon, this evening, we do have a chance, about a 20-30% chance for a storm higher north of I-70. So Fort Collins, Greeley, Boulder, better chance for storms today. Castle Pines, by the way, of course, with the BMW Championships ongoing there, does look probably dry today. I'm cautiously optimistic that today we should be on the dry side. Still 1 or 2 storms around, but probably dry for today. Temperatures right now, 60s Eastern Plains. We'll top out at 90 for us here in Denver, about a 30% chance for a storm today. Again, better chance north of Denver than south of town. But again, still some storms around for this afternoon. And also, by the way, our friends on the Eastern Plains, looks pretty stormy out there, especially the northeastern corner of the state. Upper 80s, low 90s for the most part on the Eastern Plains. Headlines, we take a look at the next couple of days. Monsoon, classic monsoon storms for the weekend, but storm odds and severe odds will tick up for tomorrow. I'll have details on that coming up in my full forecast.
Looking forward to it, Chris. Thank you. Right now, Denver Police Department has a Medina alert out for a car involved in a fatal hit and run. It happened earlier this month on August 3rd near Federal Boulevard and 1st Avenue. Police are looking for a 2011 gray Dodge Avenger with a temporary license plate 6338564. It was last seen on Wednesday in the area of 1st Avenue and Newton Street. They haven't given us any details about the driver or any damage to the car. Anyone with information on the crash or who's seen the car can call Denver Police or 911. Last night, the nation's Democrats wrapped up their convention in Chicago, where history was made. Vice President Kamala Harris accepted the Democratic nomination for president.
Yeah, she's the first woman of color to top the ticket for any major political party, and our Kyle Clark was in Chicago for the historic moment.
Kamala Harris delivered an unapologetic defense of America and its greatness on Thursday. This was a flag-waving party full of optimism and patriotism. Knowing that Donald Trump is already attacking her as an anti-American outsider and radical, she painted him as the one outside the best traditions of America, refusing to accept the results of a fair election, cozying up to dictators, putting himself before the country.
The path that led me here in recent weeks was no doubt unexpected. But I'm no stranger to unlikely journeys.
Kamala Harris acknowledged the stunning turn that brought her here, President Joe Biden dropping his re-election campaign, and described it as just one more step in her story that is both history-making and very, very American. And she leaned into another Republican attack against her, the crisis on the southern border and immigration. She pointed out that Donald Trump told Republicans to kill a bipartisan border security bill for political leverage.
As president, I will bring back the bipartisan border security bill that he killed, and I will sign it into law. I know we can live up to our proud heritage as a nation of immigrants and reform our broken immigration system. We can create an earned pathway to citizenship and secure our border.
No talk tonight of the progressive wish list of items that were a part of Harris's 2020 Democratic presidential campaign, and limited discussion and defense of the Biden-Harris record. Instead, she focused on offering herself as a change candidate, despite the fact that she is an incumbent vice president. On one issue after another, Harris said that it was Trump who is the radical, that it's Trump the one who is disrespecting American traditions. Harris capped off a convention that heard from two Coloradans on its final night. Democratic Congressman Joe Neguse gave a fairly standard Democratic stump speech, and former Army Ranger turned Congressman Jason Crow delivered a pointed attack on Trump's disrespect of the military.
Leaders always go first. But Trump, he would push your son or daughter out of the plane and then abandon them when they come home. Our troops deserve a commander-in-chief who will always have their back. That leader is Kamala Harris. Don't let anyone tell you that the American dream is dead. It is alive and well, and it will grow even stronger with Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States.
Donald Trump reacted instantly, live posting throughout Harris's speech, saying that she was saying thank you too much, that she was talking too rapidly, complaining that her running mate Tim Walz was only an assistant high school football coach, not a head football coach, and finally saying that Harris was just complaining. With the conventions now behind us, the race for the White House begins in a new way. Covering the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, Kyle Clark, 9 News.
Former President Donald Trump is in Arizona this morning, where he'll attend a rally at Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale. Ahead of the rally, he spent some time visiting the Arizona border on Thursday. Trump also spoke about Vice President Kamala Harris and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He called Harris and her father Marxists, adding that Harris destroyed San Francisco and doesn't want a border wall, and said he would be honored to receive an endorsement from RFK Jr.
Today, presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will address the nation from Arizona. The Independent announced earlier this week that he will give a campaign speech addressing his path forward. His running mate recently said that the campaign faced a tough choice to stay in the race or drop out and back Trump. Kennedy's campaign will hold its event in Phoenix.